addressing the perfect storm of kids and technology. I'm Tanya Hall for ZDNet, and joining me is Chris Chuang. He is the co-founder and CEO of Republic Wireless. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Give us a brief introduction to Republic Wireless.
Republic Wireless is a Wi-Fi first mobile carrier. We provide mobile service just like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, but we use Wi-Fi to save people money. We've been doing this for about 6 years. We've saved hundreds of thousands of our members over $500 million over the last 6 years. And really the simple thesis is, why pay for expensive cell towers when you're inside of buildings and you're already paying for the mini tower of a Wi-Fi router? And so we send calls and texts and data over Wi-Fi whenever it's available, and when it's not, we use cellular. And in so doing, we're able to save our customers a lot.
Relay is Republic's first foray into hardware. What challenges have you had since you launched this in beta up to today?
Sure. So let me tell you a little bit about Relay to start. First of all, here's one of them, so you can take a look. And it's really about a 2x2 inch device, fits in the palm of a hand, as you can see. And we think it's a revolutionary new device that will help families stay in touch in a safer way, particularly young kids. It works like a walkie-talkie. So that's the mode of functionality. It's an asynchronous communication method where you're back and forth with each other at the push of a button. But unlike a walkie-talkie, it's not limited by range. So it's got LTE and other cellular radios inside of it, which enables it to go anywhere that you have a cellular signal. And it also has a host of other smart features, such as location tracking, games, music, and voice assistant functionality. Some of those features are coming a little bit after our launch here, but will be a fast follower.
You're a father of 4 preteen children. So talk about the perfect storm, if you will, of kids in tech and kids in screens. I mean, how has your involvement in the industry affected the way that you raise your kids?
Yeah, so as I said, over the last 6 years, we've been selling a lot of smartphones, helping people save money on their family budget. And over the course of selling hundreds of thousands of smartphones and service with that, we started to realize that these very devices that were helping adults so much were actually starting to introduce some new dangers for children. Things like screen addiction, cyberbullying, and even stranger danger, in the sense of kids now being able to be reached by the outside world perhaps earlier than a parent would want. And so as we saw this dynamic, not only in the market but really in our own families, we felt like this was something that we needed to expand our mission to go after. And so that began in 2014, and over the years after that, we began to prototype and iterate on devices that would eliminate some of the core dangers that a smartphone brings to the child. So first and foremost, screen addiction. It's a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it. All of my kids have suffered from it on their iPads, and I didn't want cell phones to make that problem worse in their lives. So the first design principle that we had with Relay, as you can see, is there's no screen. Right? So how do you fix the problem with screen addiction? You give children a device that literally has no screen to be addicted to. Yet at the same time, it has all the power of a smartphone, so they could stay in touch with parents, be tracked via GPS radios that are in the device, as well as a host of other fun features that would make them want to carry the device. Because if a parent has to force them to use the device, it's not going to last very long. So thus the features like music and games and other things that we'll be adding over time, so that a kid's going to want to carry this with them in their pocket. We're going to have accessories like lanyards and wristbands and things, so that they can more easily carry it as well.
How did you go about identifying the level of technology and connectedness that's actually appropriate for preteens?
So I don't think that any of us have a silver bullet answer to what exactly is the right level of connectedness. What we were solving for was really our tagline, enabling our kids to go far but stay close. And so go far in my household means go down the street to a neighborhood kid's house. It means going into the woods behind our backyard. and it means being able to go, to the park down the street. And before Relay, my only option to stay in touch with those kids would be to either give them an old smartphone, which would introduce all the dangers that we talked about, or literally buy them an old school walkie-talkie that would have limits of range. But with Relay, now they have something where they can go to those places and stay in close communication with us, as well as have the ability to track them via GPS as well. So if we don't want to bother them, we can just look up on the app on our smartphones where they are on a Google Maps like interface. And so for again, every family is going to be a little bit different, but for my family, we are solving for enabling these kind of use cases: the park, the friend's house, the woods behind my backyard.
So, what do parents need to know then about, like, I don't know, Amazon Kids Friendly Echo and Facebook Messenger for Kids? We're seeing more and more interest in social platforms and technology integrating kids. And I guess, parents need to be aware. What should they know?
Well, first of all, we applaud all the industry's efforts for trying to build a myriad of solutions to help kids more safely onboard into the internet and connected world. So that's, I think, the first thing I'll say. But within that, what we find to be still the fundamental problem is they are adding essentially more and more controls around the screen. Yet the screen still exists. And so, as we talked about, our belief is you have to really not just sort of build little guards around the screen, but you have to eliminate it, at least for kids up to a certain age. So Relay is really targeted at children between 6 and 11, and it's our belief that prior to that age, they don't really need the robustness of a smartphone and the screen that comes with it. That a device that's really more about communications, location tracking, and other types of fun is the better solution. So we think essentially the industry is not going far enough with their various app-based solutions, which again still have the problem with the screen addiction.
So, what should the industry do regarding protecting privacy for children then? I mean, it's whether it's, enabling them or unenabling them to be able to access these things. What should the industry do to help intervene?
Well, with the rise of what I'll call voice-first devices, things like Echo and Google Home, I think the industry is on to the right trajectory about building connectedness into other form factors, right? Which again don't have a screen that can also access Netflix and all the, and YouTube and Fortnite and all the addictive, content and services that are out there. So weaving connectedness and communications into simpler devices that inherently won't be addictive, I think is sort of the right vector for people to be on. And so I would applaud, for example, Echo and Google Home for, at least in my household, mitigating the screen a little bit. Right now, my kids don't have to open up a tablet to go listen to a song. They can just ask Alexa to play it, and in that small way, Alexa has helped me prevent a moment where my daughter might have went to go play a song, but then saw an ad for something or got sucked into a video or something. Right? All the sort of happenstance that occurs when you're just on a screen device. So we're excited for connectedness to get woven into more and more devices. Our own foray into that is Relay, but we're applauding others who might follow in that same direction.
What kind of parental controls do parents have? Like, especially when you talk about search, I mean, is there a safe search enable, or are there other ways that parents can maybe even turn off the geolocation if they're concerned about that for their children?
Um, so yes, in general, there's all sorts of configs that you can set up as a parent to protect search and limit those types of dangers. I think the problems with them, at least as they exist today, is those interfaces are often unknown or too complex, or just a little bit intimidating. Like what setting do I go into, and then how do I know my kid won't be able to turn it off, right? And so again, too many steps to solve that problem. Um, Again, for us, we think at this time, at least, until those interfaces are perfected, a simpler solution is required. And And that for us is, again, eliminating the screen altogether, providing a lot of the same richness of communications and functionality, but doing it in a way that is wholly protected for the child. And with Relay, I mentioned a number of different features like music, like a voice assistant functionality. Again, these are to come on a roadmap in the first few months here post-launch. But what I didn't mention is that all those features will be governed by the parental companion app, right? So if you don't want your child to have music on their Relay device, then you can swipe and turn that off. If you don't want your child to be able to ask a voice assistant how tall a giraffe is, because they might ask something, worse than that, then you can swipe that off. And so we've designed our interface so that the parent has sort of full control over what features their child's device has, as well as even who they can communicate with. So our relays, will be able to, pair with each other so a child can speak to another child. But perhaps you don't want your kid engaging with certain people, and so you can kind of essentially have an approval function in the interface where you can reject a request for a new person to join the Relay network with your child. So all of that control will be with the parent, and in so doing, they'll be able to protect their child from whatever specific danger they're most concerned about.
So essentially, it's a modern day futuristic walkie-talkie that can help parents navigate the internet, right?
Yes, that's a good way to describe it. It is a smart walkie-talkie that works everywhere, and I think that's the easiest way to understand it. Over time, we're excited to see how kids use it in novel ways beyond the walkie-talkie functionality, where the walkie-talkie is really more the means to the end. So, for example, I had a family had 5 kids over to their house last weekend, and we just got this feedback a few days ago, and they said Relay is an amazing scavenger hunt device, right? So not walkie-talkie, but a scavenger hunt device, because it enabled these 5 kids to have a scavenger hunt across their neighborhood and communicate as they were doing that. So walkie-talkie functionality enabling all sorts of new forms of creative play, and frankly, more outdoor play, which is, I think, what a lot of parents would like to see their kids have more of.
Well, I know I'm not your target audience, but the minute you launch those voice activation, Darth Vader and helium voices, I may have to get in touch with my younger kid, because I'm going to want to do that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. It is. Who doesn't like to hear the chipmunk or Darth Vader version of the voice?
Exactly, Chris. That's what I'm saying. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, maybe they want to find out more about Relay or the type of work that you're doing, or maybe just understand how to be a parent managing this new digital world, how can they do that?
Sure. So if you want to learn more about Relay, best way is to go to our website, which is relaygo.com. Again, relaygo.com. And if you'd like to engage with me more directly and see what conversations I'm joining into, Twitter is the best way to plug in with me. My handle is RW, is in Republic Wireless, Chris Chuang, and I welcome any interaction over that medium. So feel free to tweet me anytime.
And thank you again, Chris. If you guys want to follow me and more of my interviews, you can do right here on ZDNet, our Tech Republic, or maybe find me on my website at Tanya Hall Radio. I have links to all my social platforms. If you'd like to chat, I'm on Twitter at Tanya Hall Radio. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.